Reg, how many transporter accidents have there been in the last 10 years? 2? 3? There are millions of people who transport safely every day without a problem.
I've heard of problems. What about transporter psychosis?
Transporter psychosis? But there hasn't been a case of that in over 50 years. Not since they perfected the multiplex pattern buffers.
Reg, transporting really is the safest way to travel.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Fully Functional, TNG Podcast. I'm Maggie, joined by Jeff and Dory.
Yo.
Jeff and I are veteran Trekkies, and Dory is a rookie Trekkie, and we are taking her on her first journey through Star Trek: The Next Generation. Today we're talking about the Season 6 episode, Realm of Fear. And as always, we'll take it to Dory for the recap.
Okay, so we start off there. They've located, the Enterprise has located the USS Yosemite. I can't even tell you how many times I read that word it's Yosemite. I know it's Yosemite. And just
the Yosemite.
Everything in me wants to say Yosemite. No, Yosemite. They are a Starfleet science vessel sent to the, oh boy, I wrote Ijo? I don't even know if that's correct.
I don't remember.
It's
so
not
to
important.
That sector,
Yeah.
to that sector to observe a remote plasma streamer. The ship has not been heard from in several days. So we find out very quickly why they haven't heard from them, because they are no longer observing. They have become part of the plasma streamer.
Oh, shit.
So they're in the distortion field. They can't communicate, and it's too dangerous to fly out on a shuttle. So Picard's like, Geordi, can you transport the team to the other ship? And Geordi's like, well, yeah, we can send them to the ship, but we might not be able to get them back. And then, oh, hey, Reg, he's back. And truly, the anxiety firing on every cylinder possible. And I've never related to Reg more than some of the stuff that he goes through in this episode. He's still not my favorite character by any means, but this might be my favorite Reg episode so far.
That's fair.
I mean, that's just saying a lot, because this is not the best episode. Anyways, okay.
No, it's not.
Okay, so they're like, okay, if we bridge the transporter system with the Yosemite transporter system with the Enterprises, they might be able to cut through the ionic field. Okay, whatever. So Geordi's like, Geordi's like, hey, Reg, get your big boy pants on. Oh, you're going with the away team. And O'Brien, so they're in the transporter room, and O'Brien's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, hey, welcome back, O'Brien. I haven't seen him in a hot minute. And he's like, oh, it's gonna take longer than usual to transport. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. And Reg is like, bitch, what? So the away team also consists of Worf, Riker, and Dr. C. So, what did I write? It looks like I wrote, Reg looks like he's about top ass out. To pass out.
To pass. Top
He
ass
looks top ass today.
I need to leave better spaces in my writing. It all looks like it's just one word. I'll do it again. I'll do what I did last time. I'll put a picture and yeah. Okay, so Reg, it's his turn to transport, and he's like, no, hard pass. This is not. He's like, I'm out. No. So Troy,
and they drag it out so hard too, because it's of course it's like, oh, it's actually way more complicated than it usually is, and we have to do it one at a time, so you have to see every single person before you do it.
Yeah. So Reg then has a session with Troy, and honestly, this was a good episode for Troy. She's like, Reg, this is a totally legit fear, and it's absolutely okay to be freaked out about this sort of thing. And So Troy goes, Reg, is there something you're not telling me? And then Reg goes, actually, this is not the first time I've been apprehensive. Every single time that I've tried to do it, I had this certain feeling, and I guess you could call it mortal terror, which is what I vote should be the name of the episode, Mortal Terror. So then, like, Reg very dramatically, like, falls over on the couch, and like, same Reg. So he explains he's kept his fear a secret for this long because he thought that, like, Starfleet, like, that would affect his standing in Like, why? Who's required? What?
I mean,
That
it's
seems
not
like-
it's not a reasonable thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, Reg, this is an unbelievable reach.
But she also flat out says that's not a reasonable thought.
Yeah. Troy's like therapizing the shit out of this episode. So yeah, he's like, I mean, like, I get his like fear of this. He's like, he doesn't like the idea of being deconstructed molecule by molecule, which is like foreshadowing. And Troy again validates his fear and anxiety, and she suggests plexing, which is like tapping behind the ear, producing endorphins or whatever. Reg is into it immediately.
Yeah.
And he gets a just like immediate confidence boost from tapping behind his ear. Listen, Reg, whatever works for you.
Yeah.
It's one of those like 1980s pressure point things. Like, oh, you tap your pressure
Yeah.
points and you'll feel better, and it's like, yeah, there's a reason that's not still a popular thing.
Yeah. But even Troy's like, I mean, I didn't mean that it would work like immediately. It's,
Yeah.
you know.
She's like, oh, okay. All right, Reg.
Yeah.
So on the Yosemite, there's no sign of anyone on the ship. The escape pods are still there. And I just was like, are they invisible? Is that what Reg sees? So we discover it was an explosion that originated in the transporter room. Dr. C finds a dead guy, Lieutenant Joshua Kelly. He is 2nd and 3rd degree burns, and Dr. C doesn't think he was killed by that. Okay. So she wants to take him back to the Enterprise for an autopsy. So O'Brien, back on the Enterprise, O'Brien is trying to reassure Reg. He's like, Reg, your fear is totally fine and valid and justified. And he tells Reg his own little secret fear, which is of spiders. And now he's not, he had to face his fears head on, and now he's no longer scared of spiders. Great. I'm so happy for you, O'Brien.
Also, phobias don't really work like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, I'm glad, and that's very nice that he like got over his phobia, but as someone who's like has like a phobia, people have tried to like, show me pictures or like, there's in no situation where I think being exposed to my phobia will go well for me.
Yeah.
I can't think of a single.
I mean, there can be benefits to it, but it's in a very like gradual, like therapist directed way. It's not just like, oh, you have to
Someone
face
just
your fear.
someone throws a big ass boa constrictor at me.
Yeah.
Catch. No, I would run so hard.
Yeah. Like exposure therapy like is a thing, but it's not like you can't like just willy-nilly like be like
It should be conducted with, mental health professionals,
Yeah.
not by the transporter guy.
yeah. But in some fairness,
No, I'm not saying that
yeah.
that O'Brien is doing it. I'm joking.
Yeah,
O'Brien
yeah.
is like fine in this episode. Whatever.
Yeah. But I just want to be fair to O'Brien in this episode in that was and kind of still is a TV trope in that like, oh, you get exposed to your fear and it's cured. So
Yeah.
that's not really O'Brien's fault. That's just like the way
No,
TV
I
views
wasn't-
phobias. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't being sarcastic when I said I'm very glad that he got over his fear. I'm sorry if that sounded sarcastic. No,
No.
I'm like, as someone who has a phobia, the fact that he was able to, like, you know, go get past it, that's great.
Yeah.
I could never be me, but I'm good for you, O'Brien. And I say that sincerely.
Okay.
I do realize it's every time I say something, it sounds like I'm just being mean to him. Okay, so
Because I thought it was really nice that he, like, tried to reassure Barclay and stuff.
I like that. This is not a, like, I'm not critiquing O'Brien in this particular situation. I mean, I don't think his, like, suggestion is maybe, like, the best, but the fact that he's like, look, I'm a case study for this situation, but also the fact that he didn't, like, his first thing wasn't like, oh, you'll get over it, it's whatever. He's like, listen, Reg, I had a phobia too. I know exactly how you feel, and I appreciated that. So he didn't, like, shut him down. So Reg, then he faces that fear of the transporter, and he makes it to the other ship, and Picard is talking to a lady on the screen, and I immediately wrote, is that an admiral? And are we taking bets on if this is an admiral, good or bad? I'm leaning towards bad, because all admirals, like 9 out of 10 admirals are likely to be bad on TNG.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she is bad, because then she, like, low-key says something like, no, not low-key. She's like, oh yeah, the Ferengi are, like, claiming 2 of their freighters were destroyed by a Cardassian warship in their sector, and she's like, although I loathe to believe the Ferengi about anything, there was some evidence of Cardassian weapons. I was like, wow. Yeah, there's a lot of Ferengis that are dicks, but you're like, but she really just wanted to, like, ignore their thing of, like, we got fucking ambushed, and like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, I got she's bad. I don't know if she's an admiral, but I'm just gonna assume.
I mean, probably.
She's got a bad take, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume she's an admiral. Okay, so Reg so when he is going back to the Enterprise, he sees, like, a crazy slug thing, like, kind of clear. I don't even know how to describe this. It's gross looking.
Yeah.
When he's, like, mid-transport, and Reg
It's like
is absolutely just...
like a puppet worm thing.
Yeah. It's gross. And Reg is just, like, shaken to his very core. And so when he gets back, so later in the engineering, he asks Geordi if anything weird has ever happened during transport. And
Geordi lies.
Then
Yeah. He's like, has anything weird ever happened to you in transport? And he's like, no. I'm like, what about the time you went invisible with Ro?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You literally
Yeah, there's
have
also
phased
so
out of
many things.
existence.
yeah.
Yeah, we've also had people die like transport.
Yeah.
And
There's going to
so,
be
like,
at least 2 more major transporter accidents in this season alone.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Don't tell Reg.
Yeah. But they don't know that yet.
That's
Yeah,
true.
So, Reg tells Geordi what he saw, and he's like, and he said it touched his. I did not realize it touched his arm, but okay. So their response of like Reg telling what he saw was like, let's check all the transporter systems, nothing out of the ordinary, and then Reg starts to doubt O'Brien's like transporter abilities, his whole job, his capability of his job
I don't
that
think
apparently
he
he's been
does.
doing for 22 years. Well, he does. He could, because he's like, well, I think one of them says like there's no margin of error, and O'Brien's like, I've been doing this for 22 years. Haven't lost anyone yet.
I mean,
There
he's not doubting O'Brien. He's just like
He's questioning him.
No, he's not questioning him. He's just saying like, this is why I'm afraid of it, because there's so little margin for error.
O'Brien reassures, been doing it for 22 years. Hasn't lost anyone yet. Wonderful. And there are systems in place. If there's an issue, that's the one thing I'm going to argue against.
Yeah.
Because we know that's not true. When Ro and Geordi disappeared, you guys did jack shit. Immediately, you guys started planning a funeral or a memorial or whatever. You guys did jack. You didn't do anything. So yeah, Geordi's like, oh, there's been 2 to 3 transporter disasters in 10 years. I'm like, did they happen, all of them in the show? Yes. And millions use it every day. And I'm like, oh, this is just like what people say about airplanes.
Yeah. I think that was like a purposeful like parallel that they were trying to make.
Yeah. So then we're told about, well, it's mentioned transporter psychosis, which is something. And I just compare shuttle and okay, no, that wasn't something that I said that I put that in. Okay, it's like maybe Red should consider comparing shuttle accidents versus like transporter accidents. I feel like there'd be a lot more shuttle incidents or accidents or shit than like the transporter ones. But I'm literally just
it's like plane crashes versus car crashes, you know.
Yeah. So Dr. C is now doing the autopsy for Lieutenant Kelly. I legit thought when she started, they do some stuff and then they walk away and then this like beam goes out and I did not realize it was the scan immediately.
Oh.
I thought he was being abducted right out of the Enterprise. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Nope, there we go. That they're just scanning him. So Lieutenant Kelly, all of a sudden he gets like cardiac action and then he has respiratory brain function and Dr. C's like, what the fuck? And we're all like, what the fuck? And then he's like dead. Well, still dead. He was still dead the whole time. But then like, I thought he was coming back to life for real. I was like, oh shit. Is he like, he was like fake dead? Like that is a twist. No, he was legit dead.
Yeah.
So Reg goes to 10 forward and gets a glass of water and then he gets a sharp pain in his arm and it's glowing blue. So he abandons his water in 10 forward to get a different water in his quarters that he very specifically noted 10 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
So cool, Reg, you know the temperature of water you like. I have never thought about that before in my life. So that's cool. That's something.
It's a common thing.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. It's a common thing on Star Trek where when they order a beverage, they specify the temperature.
I just figure like hot, cold, and call it warm. I don't know.
But sometimes,
I guess, yes, specifics.
Here's the thing. Computers are actually dumb. Like, computers are only as smart as the people using them, right? Like, they're just a tool. They're just able to do things faster. And, you know, and they do have some, like, predictive capabilities and stuff. So, if you're just, like, hot, it's like, what is hot? Like, what do you mean by hot? Like, hot is relative, right? Same thing. So, it could also, so it makes sense to, like, have to specify a temperature.
Yeah, I don't have an issue. I've never thought about it.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's like so specific, I was like, huh, I never thought about it. I wonder what temperature water I like.
Yeah, all I know is cold.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Reg asks the computer what causes transport sickness or transporter psychosis. And then he's like, and give the symptoms. And then, like anyone who has ever been on WebMD, Reg immediately thinks he has it.
Yeah, I actually wrote in my thing, okay, so Reg is consulting IntMD.
Yeah. And the last symptom they list is dehydration, and he's like, but I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
I just had 2 glasses of water. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
It's like the computer's like reading out the symptoms, and he's like, you know, it's a close up on him, and he's like checking himself to see if he has the symptoms, and he's like, because one of them is like, oh, you know, low vision, and he does a squint, and it's like racing heart rate, and he like, you know, he puts his hand up to his chest, and it's really funny.
And apparently there's no known treatment for transporter psychosis. So Reg, I wrote in my notes, Reg does the Kevin from Home Alone hands on face reaction. Yeah, Reg is straight up having a bad time.
Okay, so this, I'm sorry, because I had to get an answer to this water thing. So I looked up how cold a refrigerator is, because I'm like, I like the water from the fridge. So fridges are usually kept at like 2 to 4 degrees Celsius.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So
His
I guess
water's
now I
actually
know.
kind of warm.
Yep.
Yeah, gross, Reg.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Who wants just like, I get hot water, cold, but like who wants just like,
Lukewarm water.
yeah, who wants just like lightly warmed up?
Yeah.
It's
is
like
still,
water that you like.
It's still on the cold side.
Yeah, I would say
But-
it's the equivalent of like getting water from the tap, maybe.
And then leaving it out for 20 minutes on a table.
Yeah.
Because room temperature is like 23 degrees.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like half
Sometimes
room
you're really
temperature.
23.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then I've been saying I kept thinking room temperature is between like 18 and 21. And so for years I'm like, my dream weather is like room temperature but outside, and because I like to be like, I like a little jacket.
Yeah.
But 23, no, I don't want 20. 23 is fine, but that's not my ideal. Okay, so I guess
Yeah. Unless
no
I'm
more
wrong.
room temperature for me. Okay, so
Not room.
they
Sorry. I was
so,
trying to look up room temperature. Oh yeah, it's around 20 degrees. So I was a little warm.
okay, so between 18 and 21, I was
Yeah.
on the nose.
Yeah.
Okay, I stand by my statement. Room
Yeah.
temperature, yes. Okay. Anyways, okay, so they're studying this broken container that they got from the Yosemite ship. And Geordi concludes that the Yosemite crew was like collecting samples from the plasma streamer. Data stares at Reg just so fucking hard. And Reg is like touching his lymph nodes, and Data's like, girl, you okay?
Yeah.
And Reg is like, I wrote, oh, Reg and his water bottle are
Yeah.
like, yeah, totes good.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I love how the writers were sort of able to predict that WebMD behavior, where you're like, oh, what is this? And then you just assume it's the worst possible disease.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
okay, so that's they weren't really predicting it. That was something that existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would assume it's like the War of the Worlds effect. You give enough suggestion, people are like, I have it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think this just, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the early 90s equivalent would be like if you were looking through like medical textbooks and shit like that.
Yeah. Or even just like sewing circle kind of stuff. Like anyone who was neurotic enough and heard about a disease would just be like, "Oh my god, I have this."
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you know, my cousin Jimmy, his ankle hurt, and it turned out like he had Ebola.
Yeah.
You know?
And like even when it's not WebMD stuff, like this is something that you can be that you can like have the mindset to go for. So like I knew this person who is 100% convinced that she had COVID at the very beginning of the pandemic. Like we're talking when there were a total of like 5 to 10 people in all of Canada who had been confirmed infected. And she was like, yeah, so when I had COVID, and it's like, you probably didn't. You probably just at the worst possible time happened to catch a flu right before the lockdown.
Yeah. I mean, if I remember correctly, a bit of a hypochondriac.
Yeah, exactly.
general. Yeah.
But the thing is, there wasn't like a WebMD thing to look up on at the time. In fact, there was barely any information at the time.
Yeah.
But quoted as fact now. And
Yeah.
it's like, this is something that they have been completely convinced in the same way that Reg was completely convinced.
Although I do not know, like this could be coincidence and stuff like that, but my aunt is a nurse and she said that they had a couple cases like before COVID like was even like the rest of the world was aware of it. They had a couple cases that she said like looking back on it like seem pretty likely to have been COVID because they couldn't figure it out at the time.
Yeah, and it's certainly possible, but
Yeah.
this person never did any sort of medical tests to figure it out or anything like that. They're just
No.
assuming with 100% certainty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty unlikely.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so Reg has his anxiety is a lot. And Jordy's like, Reg, you wanna take a knee for this one? Like,
Yeah.
go fucking rest. Go, like,
I love that everyone
you're
is
good.
like really encouraging Reg and stuff. There isn't really any of like the like, oh, get over it. Oh, you're being so dramatic. That sort of shit. Everyone's like pretty
Yeah,
nice to him about
they're
it.
on his side, which is great.
Yeah.
I would argue one person is not, I wouldn't say not on his side, but I'll get to that. And Jordy calls Troy, and Troy catches up with Reg in the hallway, who is he is like borderline manic at this point, and honestly, this might be like my favorite scene. So Troy's like, Reg, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm walking. And she's like, and then Troy goes, I can see that. Where are you going? And Reg goes, nowhere. I just don't get to see these decks very often. Look, there's a stellar cartography. I thought that was on deck 11. And then she says something, and then Reg is like, I'm always nervous. Everyone knows that.
Oh yeah. She says like, oh, you've seemed nervous lately or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I'm always nervous. Everybody knows that. I'm
Yeah.
like, Reg. So wow, relatable. So Troy though is like not willing. She just is like, listen, Reg. She temporarily removes him of duty, and she's like, you're not acting okay, and I'm shutting this down.
Yeah.
And Reg is, he's not psyched, but okay. So we next see him in his quarters. He's in a robe in his quarters with like a bunch, there's candles and bird noises. And I just wrote in my notes, we must have had his holodeck privileges revoked. So apparently with like the bird noises and it was a stress reduction program.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was supposed to be like, like nice, calm,
be, like,
like
relaxing.
seaside scape, and he's like,
Yeah.
computer, more birds, and then it just adds a fuck ton more birds.
And they're all seagulls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that
The
Simpsons
seagulls
bit.
are really calming.
It's like that Simpsons bit where like Homer's like, here, I'll make soothing ocean sounds for you, Marge. He's like, ooh, arr, matey. Anyway, yeah, sorry.
So Reg is not doing well. He doesn't even specify water temperature when he gets his next glass of water.
In fact, he gets
And-
irritable when it suggests it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he decides he's going to go to sleep. Reg has sequin pillows, and he has
Oh, they're like the shiny space pillows. Everyone has those.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, I do have a bone to pick with his interior decorating choice, because why the fuck were those plates so fucking low down? They were literally, if there was any kind of shaking or something, one of those plates would fall off and fall on his head.
Yeah.
They were just so number one, why would you put plates above your bed? Number two, why is it so low? And Reg is a tall guy. I'm like, put it up higher, but don't put plates over your fucking bed. That's so weird.
Yeah.
So Reg, like,
Yeah,
do
that's
better.
also that's an especially interesting move for a guy who has general anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, aren't you gonna be anxious that those are gonna fall on your head while you sleep? Like,
Yeah, like truly, that's wild. So, Reg tries to sleep, but is woken up by his lava lamp of an arm.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe Reg should talk to Dr. C. He doesn't, but he goes to see O'Brien. I just wrote Detective Reg is on the case. Oh, he wakes up O'Brien.
Yeah.
He wakes up O'Brien to transport. He wants to go back to the science ship. He wants to be sent to the science ship and back for science. And because it's per Geordi's request. And because there's like there was a fluctuation when he transported, and there was like a few, but there was the only one that was like going when he was transporting. Anyways, so O'Brien's like, sure, we can do that though without the transporter. And Reg's like, oh no, I'm giving you an order. And O'Brien's like, Reg, okay, you want to go over and you want to do this thing? Where the fuck's the tricorder? You want to go do your fucking science? Where's your science equipment? And then Reg comes clean to O'Brien, and he's like, very cool about it. He's like, Reg says like, yeah, I saw this slug thing, and O'Brien's like, yeah, okay, party, that's wild.
Yeah, because Reg is like,
Brian's
I just want to
down to earth.
Yeah, he's just like, I just want to confirm what I saw. Like,
yeah. And
O'Brien's like, yeah, fair enough, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes back into the transporter. Reg sees the worm again, and then he goes up then he tells O'Brien to wake up the senior staff. I'm like, is that part of O'Brien's job description?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
why would O'Brien be the one
there?
to wake up other people?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
That said, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a kind of inconsistency in what O'Brien's rank is, and that this is something that apparently behind the scenes they were like, oh shit, wardrobe department fucked up and they didn't know what he was. He's a non-commissioned member of Starfleet, so he never went to the academy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he basically joined up. He's not an officer, but he's constantly referred to as an officer, and apparently that was always the intention behind the scenes. But when you're doing a show week to week, sometimes things just slip under the radar, and it's like, well, it's not actually that important, so whatever. Officially, he is a chief petty officer, which is why he's always referred to as chief.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he actually ranks below ensigns.
Yes.
Whoa.
Because ensigns are officers.
Yeah.
I think in DS9 they sort of solidify that he's not an officer and
They
stuff.
do,
Yeah. So then have a meeting, which I know you love.
Yes, I love a group meeting. So Reg explains like what happened, and then Picard, of all people, tries to gaslight Reg. He's like, maybe you were seeing things, maybe this, and Reg is like, no, 'tis real, real, Picard. And I just like immediately, it was like, why don't they just have someone else test it?
Yeah.
Why don't they have someone else just put them in the transporter thing? And they can obviously do that like fluctuation thing on cue. So like, why would they not just put somebody else in and they can be like, oh yeah, there it is. Like, it seems like such an easy way to confirm Reg's like issue, like his what he's seen.
Yeah.
But but okay. So Picard wants Geordi and O'Brien to take the transporter system apart and have a level 3 security alert. I'm like, bro, this is okay. So Dr. C will run a microcellular scan of Reg's arm. So Dr. C, they're in the medical bay. Holy shit, I forgot. I'm like, what the fuck? Where does she work? I forgot. And she's
In
picking
sick
up.
bay.
Yeah, sick bay. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Listen, my brain is fried.
It's all good.
So she's picking up something deep in Reg's arm, same pattern that she found on Lieutenant Kelly, and the sample container from the science ship. So Riker's like, is Reg safe? Is he okay? And Dr. C's like, fuck if I know. And Reg just is like, And Dr. C then gives Reg like this monitor on his arm in case like the pattern shows up or whatever again.
Yeah.
And then it's really weird. So they like walk out, but Dr. C stays in sickbay and just sort of like stares off. And I thought
Yeah.
she was going to do something or say something, but no, they just weirdly kept that scene long. For
Yeah,
some
I
reason.
noticed that too. Like,
It's so weird.
yeah, that she was just like, because usually when that happens, it's like she says like she's gonna say something dramatic or something, but no, they just
Yeah.
left it.
She just stands there, yeah. Okay, so then Geordi, Reg, and Data, they recreate the explosion on the Enterprise. It works, and like the big explosion, and Geordi's visor is picking up biomagnetic energy. So it's like, oh, what? This is a light creature? That's basically invisible, but actually we thought that it was not a live thing, but it is alive? Oh my god, who saw that coming? I mean, we were due for a light entity.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You mean a light puppet? Because that's what it fucking
Yeah.
is.
Oh, I wrote that actually in my notes. So Reg then like collapses and like borderline turns into Mr. Freeze, the Arnold Schwarzenegger version. And so we learn it's quasi-energy microbes that exist within the distortion field of the plasma streamer. I obviously wrote this from directly from the episode because
Yeah.
I'm not thinking of how to word this in my own words because fuck that noise. They ran a scan on the microbes, and they didn't like the microbes didn't like that, so they blew up the container. Geordi thinks the microbes must have transferred with the transporter, and they're caught in a buffer. Reg is concerned about the size.
Oh, because they're like, these are tiny microbes, and he's like, the thing I saw looks like way more
Oh,
huge.
was bigger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But he's concerned about the size, but then he's like immediately dismissed, and Dr. C's like, there's microbes in your body like Lieutenant Kelly. That's what basically zombified him earlier during his autopsy.
Yeah.
Where they thought that he came back. And the biofilters somehow missed them. They exist as both matter and energy. Biofilter cannot distinguish them from the matter stream. And Geordi and Data are like, what if we let Reg be suspended in mid-transport at the point where matter starts to lose molecular cohesion?
Mm-hmm.
The molecules would begin to emit nucleic particles. They may be able to derive a pattern the computer would recognize, then reprogram the biofilters and scream the microbe out.
Mm-hmm.
So Reg would have to be suspended for 30 to 40 seconds.
Yeah.
And Reg looks like he's about to lose it.
Yeah.
Goes, but if I'm in the matter stream too long, and then Data, very helpfully, I might add, goes, your pattern would degrade to the point where your signal would be permanently lost. And then Reg experiences a face journey like I've never seen.
Mm-hmm.
Where just, it's a ride and a half. So, Reg then, he truly just takes one for the team.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets suspended in the transporter room, but they've got his signal, but then oh no, it drops all of a sudden, and then so we get we see the worm thing, and it's kind of gross. Like, it gets really big and it's gross, but the angle, as Jeff sort of said earlier, the angle when it gets to be like the biggest, legit looked like a puppet. Like, it looked like someone's hand, like, in the puppet. And
I mean, it probably was.
That's what that's my guess. But things are looking good until I wasn't sure if he was tackled or if he grabbed it. So I wrote tackled, hugged, who knows?
I think
but it turns out
it.
he did grab
Yeah.
them. Yeah, he did grab them. So Reg then appears with some guy on the platform, and Reg is like, there's more crew members in the beam. You have to grab them and hold on. And Worf and two randos, nobody questions this for 1 second. It's wild how everybody questions Reg's previous statements, but now they're like, we're on board, Reg.
Yeah.
So Worf, with two randos, I guess, two security randos. They get to go on the platform, and they rescue more people. I think 3 more people. And just how are these people alive from like what they being in this suspended state? Like, that's wild. I wrote, how is that guy alive? And then I just wrote science, science, science.
Yep.
Patterns, biofilter, too intense, who cares?
Yeah. Basically, they make up some bullshit about, like, oh, because of this and this, your pattern didn't degrade. But they also never explain why they appeared as giant worm things.
Yep. And then we are like, congrats, Reg, you did. Or when I wrote that, I was thinking of the Kamala Harris thing, like, we did it, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we did it, Reg. So the microbes are out of Reg, and the other 4 crew members they're fine, blah, blah, blah. Reg wants to, he meets O'Brien in 10 Forward. O'Brien's like, this is our first hangout on our own time. And Reg is like, yeah, that was on purpose.
Yeah.
I avoided you because I'm like I hate the transporter. I guess
And your job is transporter.
Yeah. It's like, it just made me think of in the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
Ken's like, his job is just beach.
Yeah, that's the reference I was trying to make, actually.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
then you made it. You nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it. O'Brien's job is just transporter.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brian on the table, he's got this like silver soccer ball looking box, and he's like, I want you to meet Christina. And then he opens it, and it's a huge tarantula.
Yeah.
And Reg just goes, she's very large.
Yeah.
And O'Brien just like, he's just gonna leave an animal on a table where people are eating.
Yeah.
Like, this is like a restaurant bar situation.
Yeah,
And he's
'cause-
just like, it's cool. I'm just gonna walk away and leave it on the table.
Yeah, for
it's not
someone
even
who
so much
doesn't
he's
know
showing.
how to handle a tarantula. Because, like, even people
Yeah.
that have pet tarantulas, like, don't just
Yeah.
leave them willy-nilly on an open table.
Yeah. Also, I feel like that's like a billion health code violations.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. Like, I feel like that is such a wild move. Like, it's one thing if like, he brought Christina, because I'm using her name.
Yeah.
If he brought Christina to like Reg's quarters and was like, here's Christina. But the fact that he's like, hey, we're in 10 Forward. We're
Yeah.
in a public space where other people could totally fucking be scared of spiders.
Yeah.
But here's my spider. And now I'm going to walk away.
Yeah.
That's cool, Reg. I'm like, O'Brien, you truly had me for like a second.
Yeah.
And then you lost me immediately. Just for this move, you lost me again.
I know.
I was like,
was
wow,
watching
O'Brien is being solid this episode.
Yeah.
And then he did this. Then he pulled this. And I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
You lost me. You
I-
lost me, O'Brien.
I knew this would happen too. I'm like, oh, O'Brien's being really good this episode. And then, like, I didn't remember that happened, and I saw it happening, and I'm like, okay. He almost got Dory to be like on his good side, on her good side, and then
Yeah. And then he lost it.
yeah.
So, and it wasn't, and I'm like, yeah. So, yeah, that's the whole episode.
It's also just
It's-
like kind of rude to leave someone in public with your pet if they don't know anything
Yeah.
about your pet.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
because then Christina starts climbing up Reg's hand.
Yeah.
And Reg is like,
Yeah.
hello.
Like, spiders don't even bother me, but I'm like, can you
Yeah,
not
I
leave
don't
me
want that.
alone with a fucking tarantula, please?
Also, what a wild turn of like, okay, so he's scared of spiders and his like, he decides, I'm going to get the biggest fucking spider.
Mm-hmm.
What? But O'Brien, like, he was so sympathetic.
He just
earlier in the
explained
episode.
that the spiders that got him over his fear were way bigger than this, though.
are the
Yeah.
Those are like some
still,
Australian spiders.
Yeah.
Oh
but
God.
even
That's
like
why I'll never go to
yeah.
Australia. They have everything, all the scariest animals
Yeah.
there.
the thing is, like, tarantulas apparently, if I'm remembering correctly, are actually like, they look scary, but they're actually like pretty docile. Like they don't really attack people or anything.
I'm sure tarantulas are very nice, but
Yeah.
and I'm not really, I'm like, we'll call it lightly scared of spiders. Like, I'm not scared of spiders. I don't like them.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I'm scared of them. Like, every time I kill one, I feel kind of bad.
Yeah.
But
I'm
but
one
to-
of those people that I don't kill spiders unless they're dangling in front of my face in the shower.
That's fair.
Then
listen, I have an agreement with a spider in my shower right now.
Yeah.
Where if they stay up, like stay closer to the ceiling, I will not go for it. But if you start going down,
Yeah.
you will not see the light of day.
It's funny. It seems that every single person has the same treaty with their shower spiders.
Yeah, it's a whole genre now.
Yeah.
Shower spider. And so far, listen, I've been going for a little while with this spider, and they've been sticking to it, their word, and I'm sticking to my word. So as long as they stay at their height,
Yeah.
we shall continue this I almost said dance.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't.
This what is it? Damn. This like
I did notice though, the spider has 7 legs though.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice
I
that.
noticed it the other day. Like this particular spider.
Oh,
I don't know what
okay.
happened to it that it's
Lost
missing
it
a leg.
in
But
Nom.
like, yeah, probably.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I did notice it only has 7 legs. Wow. That spider's been through some shit.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to point out a little bit of background stuff here. So, this episode is actually inspired by something else that's somewhat connected to Star Trek. There is a Twilight Zone episode that came out like 40 years prior to this. It was called A Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, in which William Shatner is a passenger on an airplane, and he sees a creature on the what do you call it? On
wing.
The wing. It's like a gremlin kind of thing, but
Yeah.
this
it's a pretty
was
famous
very much.
episode.
Yeah, it is very famous. So this was inspired by that. Apparently, Brandon Braga is the one who wrote it, and he was very happy about that reference. And Michael Piller was like, I don't know, we don't really just want to retread on something that was like insanely popular and do it worse, do we? So they tried to make it as different as possible, and I think they did a very good job of that. Like, it doesn't really hold much in common with that in the end.
No,
and
but I
that's
can
good.
see the inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. That said, Braga was apparently very disappointed with the fact that this episode really didn't get a lot of fanfare, but it also didn't get a lot of criticism. People were just like, meh, it's fine. And like, yeah, that's kind of how I see it too. It's fine.
Yeah. I usually, like, this isn't a skip for me. I usually watch this episode, but it's not like particularly great or anything.
No. In fact, I usually forget what the episode is based on the title for some reason. I don't really know why. I just don't connect the two very well. I feel like Realm of Fear should be about something less scary than a puppet on somebody's arm on a green screen, but that's just me.
Less scary?
Or sorry, should be more scary than that.
Yeah.
My mistake.
Nothing's scarier than a puppet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the episode's fine. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I like the fact that Barkley gets a bit of a time to shine, and I agree, he is pretty interesting in this episode as opposed to the last couple times that we saw him. And he's also less neurotic. Like, he's actually dealing with his problems here, which is character growth, and that's good.
Yeah, this is definitely my favorite Reg episode, and like
Yeah.
I agree. Like, this episode is kind of a nothing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I'm indifferent to it. It was like fine, it's whatever. I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy, like, Reg had some real fun moments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
I think this is like a far more realistic representation of someone dealing with an anxiety and phobia
Yeah.
than like previous Reg stuff. So
Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah, because he wasn't a perv in this.
yeah,
True.
He kept it, like, he truly, like, he didn't do anything to other people.
yeah, yeah,
because like I just remember, has he been in 2 episodes prior? Because I remember the holodeck one, and then the one where he becomes an asshole,
Yes.
where he's like the smartest or something. Is it just those 2?
Yeah, I
It's,
think so.
yeah, he might have like shown up briefly in another one, but those are the only ones that focus on him.
Okay, so this is the only one I've liked him.
So that said,
As of
this episode and the next couple of them are. It's not that the upcoming ones are bad. It's that the upcoming ones are mostly inconsequential. There's still some real fun stuff coming up, so don't worry about that. But there was a weird situation going on at this point in the production of the series because they were starting to produce Deep Space Nine, and so they were doing the writers' room was kind of split between this show and that show for a little while. And so for the beginning of this season, the first quarter of it, you get episodes that are clearly do not have as much thought put into them, but there is some silly, memorable stuff. And then the writers' rooms get like properly separated, and the season dives into some pretty heavy character episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. So I don't remember much about the next episode, but
I do.
I know the premise of it, and I guarantee you, Dory, you will be annoyed.
Yes.
oh boy, oh god.
It is almost as bad as the last episode that actually covered the exact same topic with the exact same character, but I won't say any more
No. Ugh. Ew. Oh god.
than that. Because of course it covered the exact same topic with the exact same character, because that's the only kind of topic that you can talk about with. I'm just gonna not
It's
say anything
Troy.
else.
It's gonna be Troy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Troy.
It's 100%
What
Troy.
man fucks with Troy? That's what's gonna happen. What man fucks her up this time? These men should be banished.
I mean,
Leave Troy alone. I'm assuming because she always gets these stories, the
All
same
right.
stories. Everybody else gets stuff.
We-
that's
She gets
different.
a real good one later this season, but I won't tell you more
Yes.
about that.
Good. Justice for Troy.
we will get to that. We have one last segment we need to do, and then we can talk about predictions.
Yes.
So
I'll put my anger on pause.
yeah. So let's do favorite moments and lines.
Okay, I really liked the Troy and Reg talk in the hall.
Yes.
Where she's like, "What are you doing?" "I'm walking.
walking
I can
here."
see that. Where are you going?" And like, "Nowhere. I just don't get to see the decks very often. Look, there's stellar cartography. I thought that was on deck 11." And then he says something else that was fun, that I liked too. Earlier on at some I like the mortal terror.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite line of this episode is, "I'm always nervous. Everybody knows that."
Yeah.
And I like when Reg to Christina, he's like, "She's very large."
Mm-hmm.
Just the way that he said the line was pretty funny to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, not like a whole lot. Oh, okay. And I did like that O'Brien was very nice and listened to Reg and supported him until he fucked it all up at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Well, he fucked it up for me, not for anyone else, really. But he fucked up my opinion of him. But
Yeah.
yes, otherwise, yeah, that's it.
Oh, I can't wait till DS9 because he's a main character in DS9.
We're gonna have like O'Brien corner.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, maybe. So not only is he a main character, he gets paired up with another character who starts out incredibly annoying.
Yes, he is insufferable at the beginning.
Yeah,
At
but
least
that
in a
character
believable way.
that character goes on a journey and he becomes good, but he starts out really fucking annoying.
Yes.
So I get to start DS9 with a really fucking annoying character with O'Brien. This is like,
Yeah.
this is my nightmare duo apparently.
It's okay. There's plenty of
like,
good
how
on that
can we
show when we
make-
get there.
Yeah.
Good.
You get
The-
Ensign Ro replacement character because Ro didn't want to be on the show. She didn't want to do a regular TV show is why. So they basically wrote another character to kind of be her.
Yeah,
and
you see in the pilot that
goes
the
hard.
the
She's
ca-
great.
Yeah, you see in the pilot that the character is basically just Ensign Ro, but she really comes into her own and becomes her
yes.
own really cool character.
Okay.
There's a lot of
you
cool
get-
stuff in DS9.
Yep, you get Renee Auberjonois just being a cop that you can hate.
Yeah. Because he was in MASH.
Yes.
Who was he in MASH? Wait, the TV show or the movie?
Oh, I'm not sure. Might have been the movie.
Okay, I don't care about the movie. That
Okay.
movie was bad. I did not like the movie. Yeah, it makes me angry. TV show 100%. Alan Alda for the win.
Yeah. Oh, Alan Alda.
That's my Hawkeye.
Yeah.
He was in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I don't care for him. No, I don't care. He's fine. I have the actors are fine, whatever. But I just don't like that movie. Okay,
That's
anyways.
fine.
Maggie, favorite parts?
DS9 corner. I'm just excited
Yep.
because we're getting close. Getting close.
No, we're not.
We have a couple more years.
Yeah, but I mean, we're closer than we've ever been.
That's
We're in the
true.
f-
That's true.
We're in the final 2 seasons.
Yep.
Okay, my favorite parts are basically all the same ones you said. Like, I don't have any like unique perspective on it. The thing in the hallway was really funny. Yeah, that's about it.
I really liked that the fear of flying discussion, which it really is the safest way to travel, and I'm just like, oh my god, so many shows did like a fear of flying episode in this era that I can tell this discussion is like lifted straight out of those.
Oh yeah.
But then there's
I mean, I think
Reg
it is
asking,
like a reasonable parallel.
yeah. But I do find it very amusing when Reg asked Geordi if there was any transporter incidents he had, and it's like it's not like Brandon Braga should remember about the show that he was involved in an episode that was written only like a few months prior.
Yeah. I guess an argument could be made that it's like the transporter accidents that have happened have been like really unique circumstances, and it wasn't anything that was wrong with the transporters themselves. It's like shit that was interfering with the transporter.
I think
Human-
Braga just
human
forgot
error.
it. No, you know what?
Yeah.
Actually,
Human error versus like system error.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Braga just forgot, which is fine.
I mean,
it's
yeah.
It's not
Well,
the
the-
worst thing in the world.
No, Jeff, when I make these
What?
arguments, I don't think that they actually thought about that. I'm saying like this is an in-universe way to explain that like the fuck up they made.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. All right, now for Dory's anger, let's jump into predictions for the next episode. So, the next episode is called Man of the People.
No.
And so the Enterprise rescues a ambassador and his mother, and
Oh, God.
Troy starts becoming attracted to the ambassador.
Because of
Gross.
course she does.
Yeah. So how do you think this man will fuck up her life?
God, how won't he? I'm worried. Oh boy. He like better not put his hands on her. Just. I think he's an ambassador.
Yeah.
Okay, I think he's gonna be a liar. I'm going the politician-esque route, even though ambassadors are not technically politicians. Okay. Oh God, and his mother? Oh, sorry, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Oh God. This is bad. Okay, so they get a ride from the Enterprise?
The Enterprise rescues them.
Oh, they rescue them. Oh, okay. Okay. Maybe. Okay. I'm going out there a little bit. Okay. What if it's a setup? Like maybe like he's gotten some bad press or something and people are talking about removing him from the ambassador position, but he likes the like power, the money, the clout. I'm just assuming ambassadors get this shit just because in like movies and TV shows, like there's, what is it, like, whenever, like, like someone, what is it when, like, someone, diplomatic immunity. Yeah. So, like, I don't know if that's necessarily any correlation to what this is, but I feel like this guy likes the power, and he is like, maybe there was some scandal and like he's like losing favor, and so he's like, what would make it, what always gets in people's favor is being in peril and then rescued, and then people will like that, so maybe he sets it up so he needs to be rescued, and then they rescue him, and then Troy is like, oh, he's been through such trauma, and he's God, I hope she doesn't therapize him while she's falling for him. Oh God.
It's kind of like what is it called? So like Florence Nightingale syndrome, where like like nurses
fall for who you're taking care of.
Yeah, like nurses fall for their patients and stuff, or like doctors fall.
I didn't realize there was a term for that, but
there is. I think I don't know if what I said was correct. I know there's a term for it, but I don't know if I got it right or not. But yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, maybe I don't think like she goes from because she's treating him, but maybe she's like, oh, he's like so charismatic, and he, went through this hardship, and she's like, just going with what like he's presenting, but truly he's a garbage person. He's an asshole, and his mom is helping him cover stuff up.
Ooh.
I always get concerned about like mama's boys.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's like boy moms are different.
Yeah, like the ones that call themselves boy moms are like,
it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in like, we'll call it my headcanon of my prediction, this is someone who would refer to herself as a boy mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, but then the Enterprise, like the crew figures out that he set it up, and that made the other group, that whoever was like, they were either hired to kidnap them, or they set themselves up, maybe hired, and maybe they're like, nope, they hired us, because maybe they start to like badmouth them and just say, oh, they're terrible, they're bad, and then they're like, actually, we're gonna spill the tea on this kidnapping. So yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Alrighty. Well, if you'd like to see if Dory's correct, watch along with us and join us for the next episode of Fully Functional, a TNG podcast.
Goodbye.